Right, okay then, let's have a look at Stormbringer issue 5. Wow, we're already got issue 5 to open. Now, having a look, obviously, if we go down, we've got issue number 5. It's obviously got a little nice cover. It's only got a single miniature in it this time. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop this open and have a look inside. Let's see what we get with this. So, I'm going to start off with the paperwork and see what comes along with this. Now, obviously, it says here it has a Praetor Prime. So basically, we've actually got a proper decent character with this one. Again, I think the only thing is, though, obviously now... we've had a sort of a Stormcast sort of hero in the first issue. We've had then a unit of 5 in the issue number 3. So basically, we've got 2 characters now for the Stormcast and only 1 character for the Cruel Boys. So I get, it kind of is starting to have a bit of a disparity. So we'll see what's inside here. Also, we've got it looks like a little bit of a pull-out here about the Stormbringer. So I'll have a look at that in a second. So let's see what kind of information we get inside this. Okay. Reforging. So it is almost impossible to kill a Stormcast Eternal for good. Though the magic of reforging, they are remade in body and soul anytime they doubt, allowing them to fight endlessly for Sigmar. So obviously that's discussing how any Stormcast Eternal, they die and they are basically brought back again, die, brought back. So obviously that in itself is kind of grim. But that's in keeping with the kind of magical ethos of Warhammer in general. That the soul is eternal, and that actually certain people's souls are strong enough to be brought back again. You see that in Warhammer 40k an awful lot, particularly with Chaos Space Marines. That the idea that the soul just will find a new body. So that's a nice little. Bring across. Talks about Sigmarite, the weapon and art. The weapons and armor forged from Sigmarite, a magical metal. Okay, going on about the history. Now, this is something that I really want to read up about. So, the history of the realms, the Age of Myth. Okay, so obviously, I'm guessing that the Age of Myth. Let's have a look here. Yeah, that sounds like the Age of Myth is obviously potentially talking about, is it maybe the time between the death of the world that was? So let's have a look. Yeah, it's like kind of the after the end times and the destruction of the world that was, and then the time between that and the Age of Sigmar, the actual era that we're actually in now. Okay, so this is actually that's actually quite interesting. I'm going to read a bit more into that and really like learn about it. So let's see what else we've got here. So a bit about the Praetors. Bodyguards swarm to protect the greatest Stormcast champions. Self-sacrificing Guardians are bound to Stormcast leaders and they work tirelessly to defend them. Each unit is led by a fearless Praetor Prime who commands them in their duties. So, the Praetor Prime is a kind of hero for Praetors themselves. So I'm kind of curious if we're going to get any actual Praetors themselves in later issues. Okay. Again, it's just going through all the how to build stuff, explanations. Now we start to get in a bit more about painting in this one. going through a bit more painting concepts, which is good. Then of course another little skirmish game, which I really need to play because I haven't played any of the skirmishes yet, but I bought this game to play it, not to look at it sat there. Okay, so that's actually quite interesting. Gonna have to have a good look. I'm gonna have to have a good look at it. It's starting to introduce game turns, so how a series of turns take place. So again, that's something that I really want to look into in more detail. Okay, now next, they have a little extra little bit here. Just trying to work out why this in particular wasn't in the issue. So let's have a look. Okay, so this is a bit more of a kind of like a fold out. Let's have a look here. Interesting. So I'm trying to kind of get to grips about what this is. What this is really. Is it just sort of right? I think it's just kind of explaining the two factions a bit more concisely. So the Stormbringers and the Cruel Boys. Sorry, the Stormcasts and the Cruel Boys, and what they do and what their ethos is. So again, it's that's just basically some fluff, I suppose, just some extra little bits of details. Not sure why they wouldn't have put it in here, but I suppose they must have felt that it was supplementary rather than core to what they were trying to explain in here. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we get some dice because dice are needed, and I'm guessing as well that as the units are getting bigger, we need more dice to roll. Okay, and then on top of that, we have this model. So let's start looking at this, because isn't it, I've kind of said I'm not really happy with the whole push fit for everything. So this one, however, other than having a few little what I call nipples and dimples for holding things on, this does not appear to be a push fit. So finally a proper style hobby miniature that you don't just squeeze together. So hopefully the fit will be better on that one when I put that together in a few days time. It looks I'm trying to have a look at him. He's got a very is it maybe I heard that one actually. Okay. Yeah, very upright pose, kind of going to be standing quite firm. Options between so doesn't look like there's any options with this one, so it's literally like the head and then they're holding the helmet. So I like options. I like having something to make them unique. So okay, it looks like a lovely model, but that might be a bit of a downside for me. I like choices, I like options. On the other hand, because we get a lot of spare parts with other kits, there might be that ability to actually have a look at a head swap or something. Okay, but overall, obviously that is issue 5. It's got some nice content. It's got a new scenario. It's got a miniature with it, a single miniature, but obviously they are a character. They are a leader of what sounds like a very strong type of other ones. I hope we get the rest of the Praetors in a future issue. But for now, we've got ourselves a Praetor Prime. The armies are building up. I need to get painting, and I'll do issue 6 as soon as I can.